Hello there, my friends. Welcome back to my channel. For this week's video, I'm going to be doing a Zodiac Libra home in The Sims 4. If you are familiar with my channel, you probably know that I did another Zodiac home just like 2 videos ago, and that is because I like to do builds based off of the different occults in The Sims, and I like to do that during the month of October, so that's why this video is so close to the other zodiac build I did. It is a little series on my channel, so we are just going to be working on the entryway of the home. I wanted to add this item with scales. It's like, like weight scales, not to be confused with like music scales, and that is the symbol of Libras. So we are just going to be heading kind of more towards the front door and going to be having a little like drop zone seating area by this door, and some of these colors might be a little bit bold, but I did like Google like Libra zodiac colors, and a nice little like color wheel thing came up, and so I wanted to incorporate those colors. They're a very wide mix of colors. I am using these stained glass windows because they do match the colors from the Google search I did. Is technically Pinterest, but it's still a search. So we are just going to be adding some of these new kitchen cabinets from the Life and Death pack. It was recently on sale, and so I decided to come and pick it up. And I feel like this is my new favorite kitchen set. It comes with everything: a refrigerator, sink, an oven, and so we are just going to be adding a nice little kitchen over here. This area does also get shared with the dining room. It's a very open concept on both sides. On this side, there is the kitchen and dining room. On the other side, there is the living room and bathroom. This is a one bedroom, one bathroom home, and something I saw that Libras like things to be symmetrical. I don't know if that's true or not, but it did help with the design of this home. And so we are just going to be adding a little pantry space. I did like this idea, but I felt a little cramped, so I did end up getting rid of this pantry, and I do make the wall where the oven is just slightly bit smaller, so there is a little bit more walking space into the kitchen. So you're just going to be making that wall shorter and going to be adding some artwork above the stove to kind of hide the clipping between the wall and the railing up to the second level. And so we're just going to be adding the classic base game pictures. The Google search I did said that Libras are known for like having like fine art taste, and I'm just like paraphrasing there. So we are just going to be adding a little spice rack and going to be making these windows closer so they look like one big window instead of 3 smaller windows. And so then we're going to be adding some art to the wall behind the dining table, and I feel like this part was like the hardest. So it's like finding the right art to put into this home because there's like a nice fine art I wanted to use, but like I didn't really fully fit the theme, and so we are just going to be heading into the living room now, and this part with the couches took me forever to like figure out, but I figured out a good system where the couches aren't necessarily facing the television, but they're like facing each other, and I feel like that works really well, especially because Libras love to have meaningful conversations. So we are just going to be adding a fireplace and going to be adding a picture frame TV. I feel like that looked kind of cooler than having just a regular TV, and it kind of like made the TV like kind of go in the background, and it's like, okay, now we're not focusing on the TV, but we can focus on having a meaningful conversation with whoever else is in the home. So we are going to be adding some bookshelves to frame the fireplace and going to be adding a chess table by the window. So this is the moment I realized like this space is way too small. I'm like wondering if it's even functional. I didn't get a sim to playtest this build while I was building it, but I kind of wish I did because it probably would have saved me a little bit more time to just be like guessing. So we are just going to be adding these two smaller couches to fit the space better, and I go for this dark blue because that is one of the colors I found in that Pinterest art or color wheel. And now we're going to be adding that chess table and going to be adding some matching chairs to the dining room since it is an open space in that area. I felt it was fun to have like matching dining or seating area. I was mentioning that this is an old home obviously, but it did like get a little bit of a renovation with this new owner. This possibly could have been like a generational home that gets like passed down. And so we are just going to be working on the primary bedroom right now. I wanted to kind of like make this bedroom based off of this artwork from the Life and Death pack. Also going to be using the bed and side tables from that same pack. I was really excited about this new pack because I wanted to do something different in here, and now we're going to be adding a dresser, but similar to the living room, I was like concerned that there wouldn't be enough space for your Sims to walk around the bed, get into their private closet area, and so I decided to just kind of like focus on something else for a moment, just to kind of like come back and see if another idea would work. So we are just going to be adding another picture frame TV that doesn't really match the like overall aesthetic, but it does go with the stained glass windows, and there is a nice yellow and orangey colors in that color scheme map I was using. So we are just going to be working on the closet space. I saw somewhere that Libras are stylish people, and so I feel like having a closet made sense for this sim or the sim in this home. So we do change the colors of those clothes, but I didn't do it on camera, so the screenshots at the end of the video might be a little bit different colors, but still the same items. So we are just going to be placing some clutter and decorations on to the cabinets and going to be heading to the backyard before we go to the second level. So this backyard is pretty simple. It is also pretty small, so first we're just going to be adding some brick pavers to the ground level, and then I move the grill to this level down here, and I'm going to be making a little seating area, and I do add a picnic table, so it's just a very simple space. I did make a space for a child. I didn't add monkey bars because I wasn't fully sure if it would be a child or a tween, and no, tweens aren't really a thing in The Sims. I feel like that would be a really nice thing to add is like tweens. And so we are just going to be working on the second level. First, we're going to be working on a little like office work computer area, and then the front room is the bedroom. So we are just going to be adding some decorations. I also add a bookshelf, and I put the desk slightly in the wall because I wanted to make sure that your Sims could walk through into the bedroom. So we are just going to be adding that bookshelf and going to be kind of like figuring out, like making sure it's not too close or kind of claustrophobic feeling. So we are just going to be adding a few more decorations and going to be adding some art into this space, making those walls look a little bit less empty. And now we are in the final bedroom, which I was imagining would be for a child girl. And so we are going to be adding this bed from base game. Originally, this bed was in the Parenthood pack, and I still think of this bed being in the Parenthood pack. So we are just going to be adding a dresser. This is a very small kid's bedroom, but I think it works pretty well. I do a little bit of rotating here at the end of the build, but we are getting close to the end of the video. So if you want to play in this home, you can follow me over on the Sims 4 gallery, green_rose_sims, to be the first to play in all of my builds. So we're just going to be finishing up this bedroom, then we're going to be heading into the bathroom of the home. I tried to put the bathroom in more of a central location, and so we are just going to be finishing up this little girl, possibly a tween bedroom, and now we're going to be heading into the first floor bathroom. I did what it is in the middle of the house, so I felt like it was a good like central location, kind of kept it in that Tudor time period. So it is a very simple bathroom. There is a separate water closet area, to put it in a more fancy term, and so we are just going to be adding all of the bathroom essentials with, bath towels, regular towels, hand towels, soap, and we are getting close to the screenshots, so I hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you did, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. It does mean so much to me to see my little channel here on YouTube grow so much. So thank you to those who have hit the subscribe button, and I hope to see you all next week for another Sims 4 video. Bye!